We come from the same background, but chose two different lanes. Mine brought me closer to the wolves, while yours remained the same. Being here made it easy to put money over morals, and it boosts my pride. Cause who gives a about saving a culture when it's barely even alive? Milking it is how I thrive. Exchanging a priceless soul for material gold. Stepping over the ones who came before me. To make it out by any means necessary is how I'm writing my story, even at the price of the people, even if I'm selling my rights for evil, deceiving the public I claim to be in love with while the wolves run wild and free. The agenda is working, my communities is hurting, all with the help of me. For so long, we've been marketed this idea of Black excellence. Black excellence meaning the celebration and pursuit of exceptional achievements by Black people. It highlights the success, resilience, and talent across different fields like the arts, tech, finance, athletics, or entrepreneurship. Basically, any field where we get to see Black people be successful. The most popular being artists or athletes who just so happen to fall into the category of a celebrity. This is the main reason why I'm creating this video, because one of the biggest figures we see is Black excellence, a Black billionaire who made it from the Marcy projects of Brooklyn, New York, made some extremely tone-deaf and out-of-touch comments about the state of economics and buying power in the community right now. But we'll get back to that. I don't want anyone to think that there's anything bad about Black excellence, because pay attention, we are excellent. But when you start paying even more attention, you begin to realize that there's so many layers as to why the term had to exist in the first place. That is just toxic as hell. Because what started happening was the label itself complemented the exterior, fed the ego, and left the soul of the collective starving, because it never addressed the real issue. The term Black excellence emerged during the 1960s civil rights movement. It was used as a way to celebrate Black achievements and resilience in a society that struggled with systemic racism, as a way for Black people to feel a sense of pride and rise above systemic laws used against them. And in giving that sense of pride, it was a badge of honor to be seen as Black excellence in spite of the racism, in spite of the state of Black people in America. But it never addressed why Black people have to be excellent to be considered valuable in the first place. This is when we start to wonder, why couldn't Black mediocrity receive the same respect as everybody else's? Why did living single have to set the foundation for friends, only to receive less than half of the accolades while being the much better blueprint? In America, we are in a capitalistic country. And we all know it. Well, at least I hope we all do. But if you don't, it's why the average American spends 8 hours of their day working unfulfilling jobs, missing quality time spent with family, while they're barely able to afford to make ends meet at the end of the month. Because the owners of the corporations that they work for makes billions while paying them pennies. The destruction of the natural way of life. Capitalism is what turned Black excellence from a signal of pride into exploitation, because it creates a disconnect where you have to choose between being valuable and being respected. Things like mass incarceration, redlining, and the intentional lack of financial literacy for Black and brown communities is what makes the hunger for Black excellence so strong. You have to be somebody. You have to make it out. You have to do something by any means necessary. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, work for the government, make it to the pros. Become known for your talent and get paid for it. And a lot of people did just that. They made something of themselves beyond their circumstances. Some still fight for the communities they come from, through politics or charity, while others chose to go from the exploited to the exploiter. Since they're no longer vulnerable and now have more power on their hands, why change the system if it's profitable? Why not join it instead? And this is why jayz's perspective is seen as out of touch.
I'm a target. You ain't. Don't miss that target. No exclusive. They only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott. You posting on Instagram. That's Meta, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing the politicking as usual.
Claiming to be for the people while also making statements that goes against the people is a contradiction. The people started boycotting Target for rolling back on policies in support of Black businesses. Policies they promised they'd honor. That isn't picking and choosing who to be mad at. What it is being intentional about what is no longer working. And if you really paid attention to the state of capitalism and the state of the American people in this country, you would also understand that it is completely, almost impossible to boycott such large corporations that he was specifically pointing out in that freestyle. So it makes more sense to be intentional about the things that we can actually change so that it can be a catalyst and a domino effect for other things to come. Kind of common sense. And it's clear that the boycott is the thing that did work because in 2025, Target suffered a 9% loss in foot traffic and decrease in over $20 billion in shareholder value. So it's actually kind of sus to position this idea and say anything about the boycott as if it didn't work, you know? Kind of sus. Listen, when you become Black excellence and your loyalty lies to capitalism, that's a whole other form of slavery. Because you get attached to the desire to capitalize, attached to the desire to be greedy, and attached to the desire to exploit individuals who support you and who might be vulnerable because of whatever circumstance they may be in. So what's the difference between capitalism and Black excellence? Nothing. Absolutely nothing but the face and the name. Can you ever really be free if you're giving your power away to those who capitalize on your demise, then throw it in your face after? Hateful minds is what they feed, with hearts full of greed and back rooms full of laughter. Entertainment becomes more with dedication to persuasion. We've been cheering on the disguise, cheering on all the lies, cheering on the I apologize, cheering on and on until they no longer need it. The beast, you pay to feed it. So the mission is already completed. You've already consented to being defeated. The difference between capitalism and Black excellence is what's marketable, not what's best. And while you still playing checkers, they've been playing chess.